What came first, the Grifter or the MacGuffin?
A MacGuffin is a thing that the spies are after.
Keys to the Golden Vault is coming out soon, or probably already out by the time this video goes live, but I thought it'd be really cool to go over and put together a crew, a heist crew of some of the classes in D&D and what that might look like. And these are 4 picks, classes, subclasses that I think would just be fun. They fit the flavor of, a crew in D&D pulling off an epic heist, stealing a tome of secrets, or a dragon egg, or whatever MacGuffin, you want. I don't know. I haven't really looked at the book yet. 2 of these classes are on the list on D&D Beyond's article about 13 or something odd classes that would do well for a heist. But I am going to pick 2 of my own that are not on the list that I think would be fun. One of which just makes sense. And then another one you'll never be able to guess. So let's go ahead and jump into it, shall we?
Don't touch your tie. Look at me. Okay. I ask you a question. You have to think of the answer. Where do you look? No good. You look down, they know you're lying. And up, they know you don't know the truth. Don't use 7 words when 4 will do. Don't shift your weight. Look always at your mark, but don't stare. Be specific, but not memorable. Be funny, but don't make him laugh. He's got to like you and then forget you the moment you've left his sight.
So for our Grifter, we're going to go with a Great Old One Warlock, and specifically Pact of the Chain when we get to that. For race, let's just go ahead and go with Half-Elf. The bonus to Charisma is nice, and you can split the other ones up to, let's say, Wisdom and Dexterity. Those probably are going to be things that'll be very handy in a heist situation. That is also going to give us Dark Vision, and we might want to pick skills like, say, Stealth, Persuasion, Intimidation, those types of things. So Pact of the Chain, that's going to start out this nice little combo of synergy we're going to have going on. Just wait. Pact of the Chain is going to allow us to use Find Familiar. But it's a little more than just vanilla Find Familiar. It's going to allow us to summon a special familiar, and we want to choose from that selection of familiars an imp. So an imp is a little different. It's going to give us some bonus things for hiding. One of those bonuses being straight up invisibility. So obviously that's good. If they can't see it, it's pretty heisty, right? Pretty sneaky. But that's not all. There's more to this combo. Instead of taking an ASI at level 4, let's go ahead and take a feat. We are going to pick the Actor feat. So that's obviously going to give us +1 to a stat. Go ahead and pump that into Charisma, and that's also going to give us advantage on Deception and Performance. Already starting to put together a nice Grifter class here, aren't we? But the part of this feat that we're really looking for is the part where it allows you to mimic a voice. Now, with this, you need to know the voice, but that's where the whole heist strategy comes in. You don't just go straight into a heist, you case the joint. You figure out everything to do with this place. You have the layout, you know the personnel, you know their brothers, sisters, mothers, uncles, donkey's name, all that good stuff.
I am your father's brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate.
What's that make us?
Absolutely nothing!
Ideally, you would have spoken to these people so you will be able to imitate their voice. Some people to imitate voices for could be museum curators, it could be guards, it could be guard captains, mayors. If there's mayors in D&D town, I don't know, I'm sure there's people that have mayors in D&D town. I have mayors in D&D town, whomever, people of important interest, so that you can use that voice to convince other people that you're them. But let's keep on going. So let's go ahead and take a look at the invocations that we might want to take. Let's start with Beguiling Influence. Go ahead and kind of layer out those skills that we may have not picked up with our background and starting class and race. And that's going to give us proficiency in Deception and Persuasion. For our next invocation, let's go ahead and pick up Mask of Many Faces. And that's going to allow us to essentially use Disguise Self at will. So you see where I'm going with this combo. Mask of Many Faces, combo that with the Actor feat, and bing bang boom, you look like anybody of importance at the snap of a finger, and you sound like them. That's pretty good, I would say. Yeah, let's do that. There's our first combo. Next, we want to take Voice of the Chainmaster. Now, Voice of the Chain Master allows some extra stuff with your familiar, but that's not really what we're looking for here. The thing that we're looking for here is it allows you to speak through your familiar. So we combo that with the actor feat, so you're mimicking the voice of someone else through your familiar, and that's just a potent distraction. So not only are you a grifter, but you have these distractive capabilities as well. Let's say there's a guard somewhere and you just can't get past him, or you don't know this person and you don't know exactly where they are in the totem pile. I don't know, on the hierarchy of important people. So you're not sure how they might react to a person that you might be trying to imitate. So you can use the imp as a distraction somewhere else and see how he reacts to that. I don't know, there's different combos you can do here, but pretty cool, right? This being a warlock, you have a list of possible spells that you might take, which would include Charm Person, Comprehend Languages, Dispel Magic, Darkness, Counterspell, Gaseous Form, Invisibility, and Suggestion. Tasha's Hideous Laughter, Detect Thoughts, Phantasmal Force, and Clairvoyance. Possible cantrips you might take: Eldritch Blast, Shocker, Mage Hand, Minor Illusion, and Prestidigitation. Prestidigitation has 101 videos on the internet of 101 unique ways to use it, so it's just handy. I'm sure you could find a situation in the heist that might warrant using it. Most likely there's going to be a few. Pretty obvious you're a grifter if you're charming them. Counterspell, always useful. Darkness, if you need to hide or sneak, or you need one of your heist buddies to hide and sneak. Darkness is good. Invisibility, duh. These are just things that are going to work well and synergize with being a infiltrator or a sneaky person, thief, whatever. All right, for our next class, we're going to be looking at our Burglar. And for my Burglar, I chose the Gloomstalker Ranger. Oh, you didn't pick a thief? Or like one of the rogue classes? Nah, I didn't. So for a Gloomstalker Ranger, we want to go variant human, get that +2 to dexterity, +1 probably to wisdom. And then we are going to take our feat. For our feat, we're going to go skill expert, and we're going to put that expertise into Thieves Tools. Also, we're going to get Thieves Tools from the Urchin background, and a lot of the necessary skills like stealth and things like that. So right off the bat, we've got proficiency or expertise with Thieves Tools, and that's going to make us an excellent safe cracker, lock picker, or trap disarmer. Whatever you need, you're going to have that huge bonus, so you have that reliability there. Plus, you might want to take up sleight of hand as one of those skill proficiencies, so that way if you need to pickpocket a key off a guard or, I don't know, correspondence or anything like that, you have that capability. And you'll probably be the only one in the party that anybody's going to trust to actually do that. Gloomstalker also gives us some unique spells that'll be useful in this. Obviously, Disguise Self is pretty self-explanatory. We kind of spoke about that during the Grifter one. It's not going to be near as effective, but it's something in the toolkit. And you're also going to have Rope Trick. Rope Trick, kind of a neat get-out-of-jail-free card. Essentially, you just make a enter extra planar box, and a rope comes out of it, and you can crawl up in there, and you're on another plane of existence. At third level, of course, we get Dread Ambusher, which is just going to give us some Nova damage, so if we do need to pick a fight or get into a fight, we can do some base Nova damage right at the start. Always helpful. And then, of course, we're going to be getting Umbral Sight, and this is really what kind of makes this subclass my pick. So one of the things is it's going to fix our problem of not having Dark Vision by taking Human, so we'll get Dark Vision. But the other part, the part that's so good and like feels kind of broken in some situations, is when you are in darkness, you are invisible, even to creatures that rely on dark vision for sight. What? It's not a spell. There's no limited uses to it. You just do it. If you're in darkness, you're invisible. That's so good. And of course, you're going to have other spell options in your toolkit, which could be, but possibly not limited to, Locate Object, Pass Without a Trace, Silence, Zephyr Strike, Alarm, Fog Cloud, Ensnaring Strike, and Entangle. Locate Object is kind of an interesting one. I like to think of it like this. So in any kind of classic heist story, there's a few things that always happen. Something goes wrong. And one of the more popular things to go wrong is that the thing that they're trying to steal disappears, or it's been moved somewhere else. Whatever. With locate object, if you get into that situation, there you go. You know where that object now is. Or you can use it preemptively, or if you need to track it, you have that option in your tool belt as well. Pass without a trace, of course, goes without saying. You're probably going to have people in the party who aren't nearly as good at sneaking as you, so you'll be able to use pass without a trace to essentially nullify that. That plus 10, the sneak, is powerful. And of course, silence for if, you need to do something really loud and you don't need to let the guards in the other room know about it.
Because the house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes, the house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house.
I'm practicing this speech.
A little bit. Did I rush it? Felt like I rushed it.
No, it was good. I liked it. Team beat things harsh.
Alright, so now on to some of my personal picks. These are not on the D&D Beyond list. I'm going to go with Chronergy Mage, or Wizard, whatever, same thing. Race, maybe not super important. I'd probably just take the Eldrin Elf so that you get a free Misty Step or something like that. And the stats work out for a wizard. At second left, we get Chronal Shift, which essentially is just lucky, isn't it? Getting to re-roll some dice, whether it's an attack roll or ability check, anything like that, is just good. And you get 2. That's going to be very powerful, and you can use it on your party members. If a trap doesn't get disarmed, just Chronal Shift that bad boy, and then it's probably going to be disarmed. Especially with your Burglar with its super high lockpicking abilities. And then at 6th level, you get Momentary Stasis. You get to essentially hold person for a round. That's always useful. Really, you could pick just about any wizard class and it's going to be good. There's slight differences between them. They all really have that sort of toolkit to go with. It's kind of the nature of wizards. And some of them, are going to be just as good at this. This is just my own personal pick. But any type of wizard you pick is going to have a huge list of spells to choose from for just about any situation. Cantrips. You're going to have Mending, Mage Hand, Dancing Lights, Control Flames, Minor Illusion, Prestidigitation again, Shape Water. That's a lot to choose from. First level spells, Comprehend Languages, Detect Magic, Disguise Self, Featherfall, Charm Person, Alarm, Grease, Sleep, Unseen Servant. Second level, Alter Self, Arcane Lock, Darkness, Enlarge, Reduce, Hold Person, Invisibility, Levitate, Knock, Misty Step, Spider Climb, Suggestion, Web. I probably would take Knock, but that's like a last-ditch effort. Like, things have got to be going horribly wrong for you to use Lock because it is a really loud spell. And if you're doing a heist, you probably don't want to be loud. At 3rd level, we have Catnap, Dispel Magic, Counterspell, Fly, Gaseous Form, Hypnotic Pattern, Major Image, Remove Curse, Wall of Sand. As Wall of Sand would probably be something that's really good if you need to get away from somebody. If things go bad and you need to make an escape, Wall of Sand will work.
Pocket sand.
So a wizard essentially just helps shore up any sort of complication that might come along the way, things that you don't find out during your case of the place. For my last pick, and this is a big one and really, really cool. And I might do a video on this one and kind of go over it in more detail. But this one is actually not in the Player's Handbook, or Tasha's Cauldron of Everything, or any book that Wizards of the Coast has published. That's right, this is a homebrew! Woo! Yeah, you can't stop me!
Yeah, buddy! It's on now!
Now, it's not my homebrew, mind you. This is something from the DM's Guild, which if you haven't went and looked at dmsguild.com, there is a ton of cool stuff on there. And some of it, you can use in any sort of TTRPG. But I was thinking for this last class, it's like, okay, we have the Burglar, we have the Mastermind, which is the wizard, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that. And then you have your Grifter. So what's another one that works? I'm thinking Muscle. This is the guy in the movie who's always there when things go south and somebody needs to get physical.
First, discombobulate. Dazed, discombobulate. Distract target. Discombobulate. Block his blind jab. Discombobulate. He'll attempt wild haymaker. Discombobulate.
And for my muscle pick, I picked the class from the DM's Guild called the Pugilist. Now, the Pugilist is a class made by a fellow named Benjamin Huffman, and he's made a bunch of other stuff too, a lot of classes and subclasses and things like that. And honestly, before I found this, I was really sort of unfamiliar of the concept of homebrewing a class or using a class that's not in the PHB. I saw this and I thought, wow, this is really cool. And before that, I really only knew about the Blood Hunter, which is neat. I had a player in one of my last campaigns want to play it, and I looked over and it's like, yeah, that's cool. But that was really it. The Pugilist, though, fills that gap that the Monk doesn't fill. And that's a whole can of worms. I'm going to make a whole other video on that. So at level 1, we get fisticuffs. Essentially, your damage die with fist is a d6. It's pretty good.
Also, for the race on this one, I would probably go Mountain Dwarf. Get that nice and tasty +2 to con and strength.
These are all just things that kind of make you a good fist fighter, but it's not really why I thought this would be cool for a heist. So the subclass I'm going to pick for the Pugilist is going to be called the Squared Circle, and it's why I thought this would be a good class for a heist build muscle character. You start out at level 3 with 3 abilities in the Squared Circle. Compression Lock essentially works like this. If you have somebody grappled, and they go to break the grapple, and they break it, you can spend a moxie point and you can re-grapple them. That's pretty nice. Second, you get Quick Pin. And Quick Pin essentially is a reaction grapple attack. So if someone goes to run by you, they're trying to get away or they're trying to get to one of the other squishy party members, instead of taking that reaction to hit them, you can take that reaction to grapple them. That is nice. That is some flavor. That is some just... I like that a lot. I think it's really cool. It's totally busted, I don't believe. It's going to be very situational, but I think that's a really cool action that nothing else gets. And the last one is called To the Mat. And To the Mat works like this. You spend a moxie point. You can use your bonus action to grapple. If that grapple succeeds, you push them prone. Oh man, this is the grapple class we've all been wanting. We've been asking for useful grappling feats and techniques and class abilities, and we got a useless feat that makes you worse at grappling, and we got Tavern Brawler, which is cool, but it's not really optimized. Nobody takes Tavern Brawler and is super excited about it, except for the roleplay kind of capabilities. It's much better to take something like Sharpshooter or Great Weapons Master or, Lucky. Because Lucky's broken. And then at 6th level, this one is not super important. You get, of course, Magical Fist so that you can overcome damage resistances. But you get an ability called Meat Shield. And it is exactly as it sounds. While you have someone grappled, you get 3/4 cover. That seems legit. And makes sense. You have somebody grappled. You've seen the movies where the bad guy always holds the gun up to the guy's head and he's like, "Don't you take a step any further or I'll blow your brains out." That sort of thing. They can't do anything because that person's body is physically covering them except for the bad guy's head. Meat Shield. On top of that, if an attack is made at you and they miss, you can use a moxie point to instead have that attack hit the person that you have grappled. That's pretty sick. I don't see that being something that you use all that much. The 3/4 cover, definitely, but it's just cool that you can. This class is just dripping with flavor and swagger and style, and it's not one of those things that seems super overpowered, doesn't step on too many toes. It's just really cool, and I think this subclass and class fulfills that muscle perfectly, because everything else, you could take a barbarian as the muscle and give him Tavern Brawler and him use his fist, but he's going to be gimped. They're not going to be gimped. This is their time to shine. I'm just super excited about it. I can't wait to play it in a regular campaign beyond a heist, or have one of my other players when I'm DMing do it. I just think it's really cool. I'm definitely going to do a video going over it. I'm going to leave links in the thingy so that you can go check it out. There's a preview on DM's Guild where you can see the whole class plus 2 of the subclasses. If you like it, you can buy it, and I think you get 4 to 6 extra subclasses to go with it. They're also super cool. I recommend you check it out. If you've ever wanted to play a street fighter or a fist fighter, a fisticuffs guy, a brawler, or a detective, then this class is really cool and it's for you. I 100% recommend it. All right, so those are my picks. Obviously, one of them is not in the PHB. A lot of people are probably going to think that's stupid, but I don't care. I think it's cool, and I think it's a really cool class. This thing's been play tested. There's actually a lot of people that really like it. I'm just late to the party, apparently, but you should go check it out. The other classes, I think they add that sort of utility and flavor, and it would just be fun to put this squad together. Or, it's not squad, crew. So let me know what you think. Tell me how wrong I am, because this is not necessarily an optimized build. This is just what I think would be fun, a fun build that is going to be useful. Well, anyways, get out of here. Go. Get.